Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Brother Hush, bringing you another episode of the PHIner Life Show. Listen, I am uber excited. Uber excited. If you don't see who's on the screen, you better recognize. Okay, we've got, all right, he did the Air Force, he did the Navy, he did the Army Green Beret. We have Ryan Hendrickson in the house, everybody. All right, he is the best-selling author of Tip of the Spear. Man, if you have not read Tip of the Spear, something is wrong with you. You need to read Tip of the Spear. Ryan's going to go into it. He's going to talk just a little bit about it. He's not going to give you the whole book, the whole synopsis. But if you haven't read Tip of the Spear, if you like that Tom Clancy, this is real life Jack Reacher, Tom Clancy stuff. All right. And then everybody clap it up for my next guest. Yo, James Council. Listen, I got to clap it. Listen, U.S. Navy veteran. All right. And he just came up with this bright idea. I'm going to write a book for kids who want to start their own business in a fun and interactive way. Listen, I'm telling you right now, I shook it over to my other one. He was like, ooh, ideas. And I'm telling you right now, as a daddy, if your child can come up with a moneymaker, that is one of the best things in the world, because relying on that military retirement ain't cutting it sometimes. Anyway, we are going to just dive right into the show right now. Okay, this show, the topic, veteran creators. If you are out there in the veteran like hemisphere, equator, wherever you are, and you served in the armed forces, and you really just want to put pen to paper, we got two authors, best-selling authors, fiction, nonfiction. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get into it. Let's dive right in. My first question, gentlemen, whoever wants to pick up this first ball, okay? Why did you even get into publishing? Ryan or James, whoever wants to take it, what possessed you to put pen to paper?
Hush, what possessed me to do it? Honestly, I got to a point where when I first joined the Navy that I didn't know anything about finances. I didn't know what a good credit score was. I didn't know anything about finances. And it actually took a toll on me when I first came in, because, you know, you get a job, you get this money, you're young, you're 18, you really don't come from much, but you don't understand how to utilize your money. And as I got older, I started meeting so many people and started understanding finance. I just fell in love with it. And I had my two sons. I just had a daughter, and I was thinking, like, what can I do to start them at an early age of thinking about finance and honestly become an entrepreneur? And that basically got the ball rolling for me.
That's awesome. I think for me, it actually didn't start off as a book. So I had some incidents happen. 2010, I stepped on an IED in Afghanistan. And, before then I started off in the Navy, and then did 5 years in the Air Force, and then switched over to the Army. But I stepped on an IED in 2010, and then recovered from that and went back. I got medically retired and fought my way back on active duty. And then I went back to Afghanistan in 12, 16, 17, 18, 19. And then I went as a contractor 20 and 21. But about the 2017 trip, I started really, I think people in general are very good at, especially in the military, they're very good at taking, mental health issues and just putting them in their backpack. Like, I'll deal with this another day. I don't have time for this right now. And I got to a point to where all of a sudden that other day hit me, like a sledgehammer. And so I'm just trying to figure out, like, gosh, I don't know what to do. I mean, you can go and talk to your buddies at a bar or whatnot, and you guys will spill it all out there, and it's great for right then. But then he goes home to his life, you go home to your life, and it was all just kind of dead air. And so I was talking with our chaplain, and he said, "Have you ever thought about writing?" I was like, "Well, no." I think I majored in writing in like the third grade, but no, yeah, writing wasn't a thing to me. And he said, he's like, well, sometimes writing it out actually helps people because you're taking it off your chest and you're putting it somewhere tangible onto a Word document or whatnot. So the 2017 trip rolls around, and I was kind of in a dark place, and I was like, you know what, let me start writing this stuff out. And so, page after page after page and month after month, and I'm just spilling everything, and it goes from the military to childhood to everything like that. And then I finish up and I have 800 pages of just stuff. And so I kind of organize it to the way it's read in the book, and that's a lot of work. So I kind of want to know what people think. So I had a couple buddies read it, and if you want someone's honest opinion, give it to another service member. They'll tell you. And they said, yeah, that's me, man. You wrote about me in this situation, and or this. So I had family look at it, and yeah, people need to read this. And so I got enough courage to actually have an editor, a professional editor, read it. And he said, hey, look, man, this book needs to get out there. I'm actually going to do this for free. I'm going to go through with you. And so for a year, we went sentence by sentence until it actually read. And then he had a buddy that's like, well, let's see if we can get some publishers out there. And his buddy was able to, the first publisher popped up and it's like, yeah, we want this story. And I just said, all right, well, I was very nervous about, putting my life out there on blast because it's very raw. It's not a hero story. It's not a story about, killing hundreds of dudes and you're the hero and cheerleaders and stuff like that. It's not that at all. It's the raw, dark emotions of life and the multiple pitfalls followed with some successes, but just, just getting through life and the oftentimes very ugliness that life brings with it. And so I just wrote and so, yeah, it's the story's raw. And I just said, okay, yeah, let's, if it helps one person, then the book, it's successful. And so, yeah, that's how it got published. It went from a journal to what it is right now.
And that's just something that I guess it has to happen organically as opposed to you, James, where you're just Ryan's whole experience happened organically, and he's just like, hey, this is what happened. And you birthed Rich Kids out of circumstance.
Yes.
It's just something where you're just like, this isn't organic. Something needs to change, something needs to stop. I need to have a life-changing moment. As I feel, Ryan's was more therapeutic. Yours is almost like forced. So, and I'll start with James and then I'll go to you, Ryan. As a creator, as a publisher, as an author, what were some of the first hurdles that you encountered building up not only the whole entire publication or the book itself, but the branding? What were some of the hurdles that you encountered?
Just where to start, to be honest. When I first began writing it, I didn't know where to start. And I just thought to myself, and I talked to a few friends, they was just like, write and just see what happens after that. And then after that writing and then getting the book together, getting illustrations, getting the ideas, because when you start to write this idea or this book of yours or your brand you're trying to build, you want to do, I think it's best to do something that you're passionate about, because you give your all into it and these ideas just start flowing and flowing and flowing. So you try to organize that and build that brand to where you want it to be. And I guess that was the biggest part. Like, what did I want to show? How do I want my characters to be? What is my main focus? What do I want my young readers to say? Okay, I can do this, and this is how I'm going to do this. And that was the biggest part for me. Just trying to organize that and really pinpoint it to what I wanted to be as a whole. So that was it for me.
Ryan?
I think, some of the biggest pitfalls for me was, just like you said, where to start. And when I actually decided that I was going to go ahead and try and get this book out there, I guess it's self-induced pitfalls, which which is what got me. And it was a lot of self-doubt, like, do I really want my story, my life on blast like this? There was multiple times in my story, or well, not story, but in my accounts where I was like, who really cares? I mean, yeah, this is great. This is my story. And I want to put it out there, but so everybody has a story. And I really had to get over, number one, my dad gave me some good advice, and it went like this. He said, so you have this story and this life account that could possibly help one person out there, somebody that's in a dark place in their life. I said, okay, yeah. He goes, so how selfish of a person are you that you're going to hold this story back from them because you're worried about what people are going to think? He said, that's pretty selfish if you ask me. And that actually meant a lot to me, because yeah, I mean, it did. It made sense. Okay, so if I take the worry out of what one or two people are going to say or think, and I actually gear it towards the reason why I actually published the book, and that was to hopefully help one person out there, then yeah, all day long. And I think a lot of veterans out there, when they're thinking about writing their story or whatnot, they'll get hung up with, who cares? Why would anybody read this story? And that's because they're stuck on themselves at that point in time, just like I was. I was very self-centered and I was stuck on myself. Well, why would anybody care about my story? Because I'm looking at it through my own eyes. And so my dad really pulled me out of that mindset to where it's, hey, you do have a story. And I believe more veterans need to write. I really firmly believe it, because people getting their stories out there, and especially what we're going through today. I mean, veteran suicide is through the roof. We have a mental health crisis going on with first responders, veterans, service members, everything like that. And so more people need to be getting their story out there so people can share in it. And you never know, you may get that message one day where someone tells you, hey, that saved my life. So.
Wow, that's awesome. And I firmly believe that, yes, every story deserves to be told. And I think maybe, and Ryan, you tell me, or James, you tell me, are veterans afraid to profit off of their own ideas? How do you each feel about that?
So I don't think they're afraid to profit off it. I definitely, I struggled with that one too, but I mean, the book is not a profit for me yet. So I'm not really worried about that part, but I do think there's two things that trip veterans up. Number one, why would anybody care about my story and what I have to say? And number two, they just don't know how to start. They'll scare themselves out of actually starting, because it looks like the journey is so daunting. But I mean, if I could get a book out there and publish it, I mean, come on, man, anybody can do it. So.
Yeah. And I also think that, as being in the military, we always think about the rules and regulations, and okay, if I'm benefiting from this and I'm sharing this with other people, am I allowed to do this? Am I allowed to do that? Am I allowed to write this? Am I allowed to put this in the book? Am I allowed to do that? And for me, it was the same way. Can I promote my book in certain places and stuff like that? And it wasn't about me promoting the book. Actually, it was about me actually trying to help different sailors and different Marines and other branches that, they have kids who actually want to become entrepreneurs and build businesses. And my thing was, it's not about me selling you the book. It's about me trying to get it to you so you can improve your life and your children's lives, and give them that understanding of finance. And honestly, a lot of the stuff is just me. I was just giving the book out instead of them going to buy it. If I knew somebody and we had a talk and we sat down and they told me, they never knew, or they always wanted something like this and they want to give it to their child, I'm like, yo, I got you. I got books in my trunk. I'll give it to you as soon as we get out of work. Like, you need this. And I want this to help you, because we don't talk about that enough. And we need to talk about it a lot, especially with our young sailors, Marines, soldiers, all that. We need to get them educated, and we need to get them educated as soon as possible, because that is one of the most important things to me. So.
So let's go into now the tip session. I always like to, anytime I have some subject matter experts on tips, you know how you go to the range and then they put the nickel on top and they're like, oh, if the nickel falls, you are not going to be able to zero. This is you all putting the nickel on top. So, service members, veterans, they can zero in on their goal. We'll start with Ryan first and then James, because I feel like James is going to talk more about the business side, because I think the business side is a little bit more daunting because you're dealing with logos and illustrations and all that stuff. So Ryan, we're gonna start with you and then go to James. So tip session. What were some of the hard lessons that you learned on the business aspect of publishing the actual book that you really, if you wish you could have done something differently, if you could pass on a word of advice?
The business aspects, I don't really know how to answer that question because it's not a business. So yeah, I'm still working and everything like that. The book, yeah, I mean, as far as just jumping in and doing it, the advice that I could give guys is kind of what I just said, as far as understanding that regardless of what you've heard from other people or what other people have been through, and you think that, oh, I don't have a story that can equate to that, or I don't have experiences like that, it doesn't matter, because your experiences are unique to you and nobody else has gone through those experiences. That's the one thing that individuals have, is we all have our own experiences and they're unique to us. And you never know when that experience that you share with somebody could actually help them out. But the business aspect, yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about, the book and business and stuff like that. I wrote it and then it's doing what it's doing. And I kind of just sit back and I share my story, and hopefully it can reach some people. And that's really it. So.
That was that whole profiting off of the experience, and for you it sounds so like angelic. I mean, for real, because you have so many people that I feel they think, oh, I have to get some money together, I have to hire an editor, I have to get some photos together, I have to pay for rights and all this other stuff, and you made it sound just like so easy.
I mean, it
wow.
depends. Yeah, I mean, it also depends on your story. So I fell into a very unique situation that I don't think happens very often. But the editor, that just a shot in the dark, I started Googling military authors, and I was able. And one lady, Lynn Vincent, she contacted me back, and she said, "Yeah, I got a buddy that could possibly help you out." And so between Mike Yorkie, he's a Christian editor, and my book. Yeah, there's language in it, but it's Christian based. I'm a Christian, and I'm not going to go into all that on here. But and so Mike Yorkie and then his buddy, who's an agent, Greg Johnson, they're both Christian editors and agents, and work with Focus on the Family and stuff like that. So they took a shot in the dark. They said, "Hey, if this book never sees the light of day, well, we believe it's a message that needs to get out there. But if it does do something great, then here's the royalties, and this is what our cut will be, and everything like that." But they, again, a very rare situation for me, but they did it all for free, just on a gamble.
Wow. James, man, we've been Facebook friends for a while. Woo! Investment. Talk. You said earlier you didn't know anything about finances, and I've seen your timeline, brother. Business 101. Ryan and I are just gonna be students of the game. Go for it.
All right. So my main two things when it came to this and building this brand and building this book, the first thing is do your research. It's too many resources out there to not do your research before and then after that make a plan. And to me, I've always been a person, I got to write stuff down. So I have composition books full of stuff, like writing stuff down. And that's just also what the military taught me. Have a plan, do your own research. And then after that, there are so many things out there that you have different resources, because sometimes it can take $500 to write a book, to publish a book, and it also can take $10,000 to publish a book. Because like you talked about before, my book it has the illustrations that cost money, the editing part, and then also the advertising. But you also can reach out to different people and use your resources. For me, one of the biggest resources I had, my brother, he's an entrepreneur. He has his own visual company. He does photography and videos. And that's the one who I went to when it came to my advertising part of my plan. And then with that being said, also, you need to protect yourself. So anybody who has a business, you also have to know that you have to protect yourself. You have to understand the legal parts when it comes to it. I have people reach out to me all the time about different deals or different things they want to connect with when it comes to Rich Kid Biz. And as an entrepreneur, this is my brand. This is for me. I never want to give it away to anybody, and I always want to protect it. So one of the things I had to understand is NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. And we use it as a business aspect to protect your brand, not to be, as some people might say, as an insult to somebody. It's to protect your brand and who you're talking about and your ideas. Because when you're trying to protect your brand, you have all kind of things that come up and that you want to do, but you also have to be careful and mindful who you talk to when it comes to that brand. So those were the things for me. And it's just use your resources. One of the biggest resources that I use today, because I'm working on book 2, is Fiverr. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, but it's Fiverr.com, Fiverr. They have people on there that you can get to edit your books, to do illustrations, to do advertising, everything. And they do it at the prices that you can actually negotiate prices or find reviews and everything that you want. So that was one of the biggest changes from when I first published my book until working on book 2. Because book 2, to be honest with you, I spent almost, I want to say, $10,000, because it was, like I said, it's my first time. I didn't know. So I went with a publisher, and they helped me along the way with my advertising and everything else. But when it came to me learning, okay, while I'm doing that, let me learn the aspect of the game. Let me take what I've learned from them and apply it to myself. That way I can do everything else on my own. And that's what happened with book 2. So everything is coming out of my pocket, but also I was better off doing that because I know how to do it a better way, and with paying less to that publisher out there, and also keeping all my rights to my business and my LLC when it comes to Rich Kid Biz.
All right, so you're gonna have to find family for visuals. And you're gonna have to find freelancers. Got it. Bam. I'm next. Thank you both. So I'm just gonna end off the show with this question to both of you. Of course, plug your brand, plug the website, plug it. And this is the last question. How can people contact you? How can people follow you? Where are you at? And please don't put out phone numbers and emails. People, leave Ryan and James alone. Okay, they just gonna put the website and the LinkedIn and the phone numbers. But yes, Ryan, where can people follow you? Where should they follow you? And why do you think Tip of the Spear is a good stocking stuffer?
So as far as where people can follow me, I'm on, going back, just backtracking a tad bit, now that I kind of understand what your question was, I guess getting the name Tip of the Spear out there and whatnot, I've used the crap out of social media because it's all been on me basically to do it. But yeah, so I'm at Tip of the Spear RMH. That's my Instagram. And then I don't know, Facebook, I think it's just Ryan Hendrickson or something like that. But yeah, actually being on here kind of made me think maybe I should start to get more stuff around to, because people ask me, where can we find your book? I was like, I don't know, Google it on Amazon, I guess. But yeah, because I don't know. But and then I do have a website that's ryanmhendrickson.com. And so there's some stuff there too. But yeah, no, I definitely sitting in on this. I've learned some stuff. And so I think I need to, this next year coming up, need to adjust fire a little bit, like an LLC and stuff like that. So.
James?
All right. You can find me on Facebook at Rich Kid Biz 2, and then on Instagram at Rich Kid Biz. And I also just started me a TikTok, which is new to me. I'm learning it. But you can find me on TikTok at Rich Kid Biz as well. And then my website is www.richkidbiz.org. Those are the outlets, and you can find Rich Kid Biz at all booking outlets, Walmart, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, everywhere.
Wow, wow, wow. I had to let them plug it. Gotta let them plug it. Ryan, you need like a social media guru right next to you. Like, Ryan, this is your website and this is your handles. You need the
Yeah, I forget
plugs.
all.
Listen, but even without all that stuff, it's crazy. Like, Ryan has like thousands of followers. I'm just like, yo, like, this is Ryan. I just feel like yours is so organic. Like, I'm like, gosh, golly, man. James, man, we've been friends for a while, and I'm seeing the growth. You have a contest right now, Ryan. James has a contest. This is how crazy it is. He's looking for 10 kids who are entrepreneurs, and they're going to be put in the next book, right?
Yes, that's correct. 10 kids. I already
Crazy.
have 2. I need 8
Nice.
more. Yep.
Ooh, if you got babies that got businesses, reach out to James.
I'm
But
telling you,
listen,
hey, this is
everybody,
free advertisement. Please, please get them out there.
and it's military supporting military, okay? And if you aren't a service member, you aren't a veteran, please support. It is so important to support veteran creators. Ryan Hendrickson, James Council, thank you so much for being on my show. Listen, I gotta plug the frat though. This is my time. www.mbphikings2017.org. Once again, that is www.mbphi, Kings2017.org. That's where you can find us. We're doing all this stuff, Herculean effort program, giving out food to the at-risk individuals, giving out PPE during COVID. We got the Mighty Warriors program, putting scholarships together. Look at what we're doing. Support it. Anyway, thank you all for joining us for the PHIner Life Show. Give it up for Ryan Henderson one more time, and James Council. Thank you all for the support, and get these stocking stuffers out there. That's all I got to say. Till the next episode. Peace.